Hello YouTube and cryptocurrency family. It is Saturday, July 11th, and my name is Harry and I am the Crypto Vet, and thank you for tuning back in. I'm going to go a little bit further into my analysis today of my of when I started just how I trend charts, and I'm going to go a little bit more in depth, plus bring back up an old template that I had from months ago and see how it fits now, because I had this theory about where we were headed before any of the Ronies hit and any of that stuff. So we're going to take a look at that. And again, as always, thank you so much. I said I really enjoyed doing this, and because you like and subscribe, I've had more views than I thought I'd have. I thought I'd just have my buddies, but so for all the new people, thank you. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment with your questions, challenge my analysis, figure out something. If you got something you want me to look at, a trend that you thought, I can give you my predictions as far as how I weight the different trends and its improvement. And then I also watched one of my video from yesterday, and I actually spoke incorrectly, so I'm going to correct that and just say what I was thinking in my head, but I said the exact opposite. So I'll just explain myself on that. So without further ado, let's get started. All right. So I have this random chart here, but before we get to this, let's go ahead to CoinMarketCap. Looks like Bitcoin is trading right around the 92.30 spot. Everything seems to be in the green right here except for Bitcoin Cash. Not sure about that, but we'll scroll down a little bit and just kind of check on some of the ones that have been doing some work out there. We had Chainlink, which in one of my analysis, I kind of see that it could be up for a pretty good rally. However, with the dominance of Bitcoin crashing now would totally skew any of these coins who are in their own little thing, but I'm going to cover that as well. And Cardano here at the number 7 spot is up 6% still. If any of these coins here can push and continue on with the trends that they are going along with, this could be a huge thing to separating the dominance of Bitcoin to these other altcoins. And even if, say, Bitcoin were to crash, then they could show that, hey, we're not as dependent on that as you thought. So that could be a really good thing. Alt seasons usually don't last that long. And right now with Bitcoin being in a very, very tight spot consolidating, not really sure where we're going to go up or down. It'd be really hard for me to try to long or short any of these coins, because if Bitcoin does one thing, that could throw off our short position or our stop loss, trigger the sales. So, right now it'd be very, very risky. And as always, I am a doctor/idiot. This is not financial advice. Educate yourself, read into it. Technical analysis is just psychology of people and how they act, and putting it into numbers and then following those trends. So we never know what's going to happen. On a blink of a switch, that thing can just change, and we go the opposite direction and then form a new pattern that goes, oh yeah, this is where it's at, or we'll correct for whatever change there is. So anything can change it, but overall we follow trends, and the macro trends that we have on Bitcoin for sure are the ones that I would say override anything you see in the hourly, 15-minute, 4-hour, even the daily chart, just because it's this is how it's been going. This is the psychology of the market. When we're playing with TradingView here, we're in a video game trading against other people who have all the same information. Everybody can see this if they want to. The more experienced traders put more stuff into it and can potentially make better trades based off of their analysis, whereas someone who just got crypto.com says, oh man, I think it's going to go to the moon tomorrow, so they buy in now. Well, just because they bought in now, they're on the bull's side, right? Because they're saying, I'm good with this price as it is. So this whole thing is just a giant game. So in my last video, I brought up some of the big trends that we have, and I'll just go over them quickly. This is our strongest line of resistance here. We haven't been able to pass this line and hold any type of support, so this line is very, very strong. It has been confirmed on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weekly candles so far, and it looks like we're about to test another one. So we can say this is a really strong line of resistance that we have to beat. And then down here we have a line extending all the way back into like 20 at the start of whatever this chart goes back to. I don't have the Brave chart up, so I can't go all the way back. We know that this line has been confirmed as we are good with this support line. It was tested and tested and tested and tested, and we got confirmation that we're good. We came back and we came down to here. said, nope, that's good. We're going to stop there. And we've started this rally. So we know that these lines are very important in where we're going. But something I looked when I was trying to do some replays and actually, you know, I retest myself. I just pick a section in the view. I'll go there, hit rewind, and then I'll scroll out, go back in so I don't know where I was, and then I can see, okay, where do I think this is going to go? And instead of using the long-term trend lines, because then I know where it is, because I've studied the Bitcoin chart immensely, I will use it on like the 4 hour and stuff to just kind of see, and I'll only extend back like a couple of weeks. And while doing that, I found this template of mine that I had from, I think it was right before this rally here, the beginning of January. And I started drawing these little rectangles as well as these other triangles. I'm not going to classify them. We're just going to say these other triangles formed. This here was the famous crash in 2018 where we were in this descending triangle and we had a flat line of support right close to the 6,000 range all the way down here. So this little pocket here was where we were testing whether or not we were good, and we came down and crashed. So I started back up on this chart and I started drawing earlier today because I noticed something else. And I know this looks clustered, but bear with me here. I put these flat lines of support here and I got rid of these two lines up and down, and I'm going to get rid of them here in a second. And let's put it to here and delete our extra crap. Okay, so without all that extra crap here, I have these little boxes here, and these boxes here were my spots where I had indecision, because we had long swings in the candlesticks here where we topped and bottomed on them, so it was support and resistance going all the way down. But along with this box of indecision, we also had a flat bottom right close to 6,000, and we also had what looked like to be an ascending pattern here where we're having a higher lows. So I looked at this, and this is right after our big rally where we got rejected at 20,000. We corrected, and then after we corrected, we started ending in this bearish trend that ended in a drop. Well, after we laid the foundation for this support line down here, which this support line did not exist yet at that point. Come back here. We laid the support. Actually, I'm going to have to, we'll just start it here because it goes very far back. So we have this line that was now formed. If I can get it to go into the spot. All right. So we have this support line has now been confirmed because we did not drop below that. We then started into a rally. So this rally was right before July of 2019 when it ended. So it extended from beginning of January all the way to June. So 6-month rally. And then something happened. We were doing good. You know, we probably shouldn't have hit anything here because our support's over at 20,000. We should have been able to just keep rallying and keep rallying. Well, right when we got to one of our spots of indecision here that I put, so this price range between 75 and 8,300-ish, we started to have, it looks like here, 3 white soldiers, I think they call it. Just the 3 candlesticks or the start to end are going, shows that we're going up. But we had some long wicks along with them, and we were kind of topping out. So, we checked, confirmed that we're good on that price, and we were supported by something here. Right, and this number here was 7,500. Well, this was right in the area where we didn't know where we were going to be back in 2018. So I feel like this line here shows that we have a very, very good spot somewhere in the 7,500 range. Okay, and that line shows that we actually tested it as resistance here in December of 19, and as well as potentially we're testing it as up and down in this indecision area that I put in the first bear market, where when I did analysis, I actually wasn't even doing analysis in 18. I started probably right at the end of 18 actually learning how to do it. But we have this very, very similar pattern forming, right? Now, if we come to right here, we busted out of whatever this thing was doing and came up and we got tested on some line, or got tested by some resistance. Well, if we put what we would have known here and then extend this line out, you can see based off of just anywhere we had another high, so I just picked this day coming down, we potentially could have been testing this level of resistance, right? As we keep going on into these charts, new potential supports and lines of resistance can form. So I can put it wherever I want. But as we start doing this, our price range has to get tighter and tighter. So the more I bring this up or down can depend on where we are actually sitting at in the triangle. So I'm picking spots where I can actually see that there's some confirmation. So if we're doing this, we're overall in a descending triangle. But because of our so many lines of support here, we don't really have just a flat line triangle, descending triangle, to where we would just drop down. We are in a sense more in an uptrend. We corrected, and we have like pretty much a little pennant here from a continuation pattern that could have formed from down here. We just overextended here. Well, and technical analysis is telling me otherwise, but my fundamental analysis is saying that this here data could be potentially skewed based off of the interest in the market, because this is the first time Bitcoin was going crazy. We were about to break the 10,000 mark, and then not only did we do that, we shot past that and doubled it. That seems really, really out of line and too much extension. So I picked here for a more fair value. And as I said, all of this here is just me doing a long-term analysis, trying to figure out, based off of everything I know on Bitcoin, what is the more likely thing. So this is just me rambling on, but you know, if you're here and you like it, you know, stay tuned and hear me out here. We have this, in a sense, flag telling us, okay, we've done too much, because at this point we were staying above the average, the 20 EMA. We were doing good, but then all of a sudden we went way past just testing that line. So we were unhealthy. We were in an unhealthy uptrend that needed correction. But this unhealthy uptrend, I think, should have only went to about here. But instead, went way past it up to there. The reason why is this is when the media got attention. You know, people were becoming millionaires with Bitcoin and yada yada yada. There was a little more interest, and at this time it was easier to get it than it was back here, and now even easier to get it here than it was back here. So we overextended. So say we did that. This here is a falling wedge or pennant pattern, showing that there is going to be a correction of some sort, and we'll figure out where that price is. If we had a steady uptrend here and not as sharp of a decline here, I would say that this would have been maybe a flag to go higher, but we didn't. This was the actual descending wedge or descending triangle telling us that we were testing a flat line or a support here. We weren't making any new highs, and thus we crashed. But during this time, I thought that we were doing exactly the opposite. We were showing that maybe we were actually going up because of this one line down here. Only reason I'm bringing that up is because this same thing is currently happening right now, and I'm thinking it's going to go up instead of down following the trend. So as we follow this forward, you'll see where I'm coming from. After we had this drop, we laid the foundation for this support line, which we made sure was good and agreed upon in the market before we started a good healthy rally until the beginning or the middle of 2019. So here we tested for the first time in a long time this, where is our top going to be? Well, we agreed that right here was it. We came down, we found support on the 20 EMA. We were doing good, and then we have this. So right here, we were already in a downtrend right before we had a pandemic. We were already potentially going to see if we were going to test this little flag here and go up to make new highs, or were we going to stay in this pattern here and then have a drop? Well, in this case, we had a drop. Came back, came up, broke through lots of areas that were showing as indecision here that I was starting to track, and I extended the box out to see if it's been continuing, and it has been. We have always had huge swings in this area here versus, you know, actually settling on a price and finding support here. So this means that a lot of the stuff that I have in this area as far as trend lines, I'm not taking as definite places to put as like, if it goes to this point, like we're gonna have support, we're gonna have support. No, because we've been going all through this without any potential yes or no that there's something in here holding the price. But if I extended this box out now even further to where we are now in June of 2020 or July of 2020, we can see that we are potentially finding support at the top of that box, as well as following this line, which has been a support line. Let me extend it out. Trying not to make this too cluttered because this is just a random theory here. We have support that's in there, so this is shown as good support. The times we've broken it during the flash sales and all that, we found support on that. The strongest support line that we have, in my opinion, is going all the way back, and we've been finding support on it. And even until now, we're finding support on that uptrend, as well as this trend here, and then we actually picked up and came back up to this one. So this one was strong, but once we hit this one, we were for sure good. When we came back up, we're still going and on our way up, but we're still struggling on this resistance line. So the whole reason of me bringing this up is Bitcoin, you know, is our most established crypto trading market that we have right now. But from what we know, if we are just coming out of a rally, and this here is just a large pennant, this would show that we have been in a consolidation pattern since our market in 2017, and we are due to go up to test new highs because we are following the bigger picture here more than anything. That doesn't mean we can't correct down here, because the market right now is bearish. I have way more bearish signs today and yesterday than I do bullish signs, just the more I've studied it. But in the long term, we are in a bear trend starting in 2017. We have not made a new high since then. So we have been in a bear trend since then. Now, you know, we can say that we had we're in a bullish trend now for the short term, but, you know, whatever window you're using is going to determine it. If, you know, we're in a bear market as of now because of, in 2017, we have been in a decreased trend overall. But with that decreased trend, if we follow the major drops that we've had, we are coming up from this drop. We came up and test. We can either drop down right down to here and see if these lines support us, maybe a little bit lower. But after this next drop, you know, the trends say that we should go up. But if we don't count that we're in that right now, we could shoot up now, because we could be at the top of, I think I have it on this one here. Yeah, nope, this one. So those are all the trend lines that I had before, just shrunken down and moved to the daily chart. So if we look here, we have this ascending channel from the rally. This is back in March of 2020. We've been in an uptrend. This was like 80-something% here. Let's see, or it was 150%. I don't know where I got 80 from. I think it was like over something like 80 days. 380 or 160 days. Why can't I find it? Oh, I'm already on it. Let's see. Yep. So we went up. Oh, it was 60 days. We went up 150%. So now we are going into our 64th day here of consolidations. And during this time, we have followed long-term resistance and support lines. The two here at the bottom are going to be supports, where we actually had crossing of them. They held very strong, and then we have been actually following on this lower line, which is the continuation pattern of this uptrend here that I have listed. I have right now, just in the short term, because it's the daily chart, I have a descending channel here that we are following, and going bounce, bounce, bounce. We're going up to bounce again, but we've been finding support here. So on multiple patterns, I've been finding, you know, lots of support that shows we could, depending on what we do in this next here week or so, we could either find support above this line and go up, or go down from here and then, you know, make a new correction in a sense. But because we have a continuation pattern and we don't actually have like a descending triangle forming here, you know, the trends will continue until they don't. Well, right now they are continuing for both. We could go down here or we can go up. So our uptrend here is giving us a lot of power to test these lines. We tested the top lines more, in my opinion, than we've tested the lower lines. On the lower lines, we haven't broken down, but we've broken above our upper supports in a couple places. And these are our two long-term trend lines here extending all the way back. So overall, even though we're at like almost a 50-50 standstill and the price shows it, I still see a lot of pressure bullish here, because if we go back to here, we're already in a bear trend, but as we come up to this, we are due to make a change. So if our change was right here, we're due to keep going up, because once we get to this pattern here, if we don't show signs of breaking down, it won't take much to flip the switch and go the other way. So overall, I think now's just a good time to consolidate if you can. If you haven't started any type of investing, dollar cost averaging now is not a bad idea. You can easily just buy, say, $1,000 now. Okay, if it crashes, you could buy some more there. Well, now your price is 50% of what you paid before. So if you paid 10,000 and you bought 1,000 here and you bought 1,000 worth that, say, it drops to 5,000, well, now you have exactly the same amount of Bitcoin you would have had if you would have bought it at 7,500. If you buy the same amount, right? So, you know, like, no, if you haven't started, there's no reason to wait. Just get started and then go from there. Again, I'm a doctor/idiot. This is not financial advice, but if you want to get into this and do things, you can't just wait right now, if this is your first time ever, to see if it crashes, or wait right now to see if it goes up. You need to at least start. So even if you lose half of it now, your whole point would be to buy in that low market as we're going up, and that little bit you bought at the beginning will slowly go down in price as we go. And then if you're bullish in the long term, like I'm pretty sure everybody is, Bitcoin will get higher than the $9,210 that it is right now. So this was just to show you some of my crazy theories that I've been looking at, because again, I'm still pretty indifferent on where we're going to go, because we are currently trading above on the, where is it at? Oops. Here. If I add in the 20 DEMA, we are actually coming right here and tested it, as well as this other support line, and we are down below it. So when this daily candle closes in 3.5 hours, you know, I would be a little more worried than if we were to break above and actually close above this. If we close above this, I'm going to continue to stay more bullish than bearish. But if we break below this, then I would say that we're more likely going towards the downward pattern. So if this candle closes above here, you know, I could be pretty bullish on that. Same on the weekly candle. If the weekly candle can close above this mark here, which is the 97.58-ish, I would definitely be more bullish. But the thing that I wanted to bring up that I misspoke yesterday was about the divergence on the RSI. I said that there was a bullish divergence. What I meant to say is that this is a bearish divergence, because we're going up here and down here. But in my head, I was thinking this is what happens when there's a trend reversal. So if this whole thing here coming back is the trend that we're trying to go to here, from all the way back to, let's see, when this is June of 19, here when we had the last time we tested the high, we are in an uptrend and we are coming down here. So I see bearish divergence, which is usually the reversal of a trend. So if this is the trend here coming up, right, we were in a bull market here and this is us coming down, I see that we would be set to actually try to recover. But in my head, I was thinking just as a trend reversal overall that we were kind of in a bearish trend, so this would be a trend reversal as far as the short term that we are in. However, since it is also showing to be a long-term bearish divergence, I could easily see us coming back down here. But in my head, I was just saying that we're due for a reversal, and in the reversal terms, I was thinking we were in a short-term reversal, which would be this decline there, but it's been happening long-term. So again, I think this overrides it. So if we are having bearish divergence in this short term here, we could see a reversal of this to help us lead into like a blast off wave in a sense. But that's just a lot of random things on the screen. I wanted to show this to anybody who is trying out TradingView and the paper trading. I like to make my guesses and play with fake Bitcoin here. You said I'm at 100,000. This is one of the trades that I put here just to see if we would stay within this range to give me more confirmation on what I think. And I went ahead and did it for Link and Vet as well. And I encourage you to try it on your own, so that way if you want to practice and get better, this will keep you humble, because if you just say, oh, I would have put it in here or I would have put it in there, you'll be like, oh no, if I had actually put it in, I would have put it within that window. So actually chart your trades, because then you can learn how to use the system, understand stop loss, take profit, buying, selling, shorting, calls, puts, everything under the sun. And I will get to those videos eventually. It's just got to do it with time permitted. Maybe if we get locked down again because of a quarantine, I'll put out 2-3 videos a day. But this video, just wanted to keep you up to date on where I see on Bitcoin altogether. And overall, I see a huge trend that could be forming, and maybe in a year or so we'll be going, yep, if you could see here, it goes here, and this is why it went up. But hindsight is always 20/20, so you have to run these scenarios through your head, get confirmations for what trends are true, so that way you got the best hand when you're trading against basically other traders here. So that does it for me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and comment. If you think my analysis here is absolutely stupid, tell me, argue with me. That's the only way either of us are going to learn. So anytime there's new data, you can switch between being bearish and bullish in an instant. And if you don't switch when you get an indicator that tells you to switch, that means you're being emotional, and you will lose money in the end. But please like and subscribe, comment below, share me to your friends. Some crazy guys talking about numbers. And until next time, take it easy.